Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny back again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I'm going to go over today's 7-game slate in the association, but before I get started, I appreciate you guys all drop a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the community, get access to all the stuff, all the content I have here on the channel, is to become a subscriber. So please, if you don't mind, subscribe down below. It helps my channel out a lot. It helps also me to be able to get out there as far as suggestion videos, recommended videos, and so on and so forth. So again, if you can, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't done so already, and make sure also you don't forget to put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any of my new uploads. When I upload an NBA video 6 days a week here on this channel. I've been doing it for nearly 2 years now as far as NBA is concerned. So again, if you're looking for NBA content, NBA information, make sure you subscribe and make sure you put on your post notifications. All right. With that being said, today is Tuesday. It is December the 3rd, 2019. Again, a 7-gamer in the association. I also have a giveaway that I do here on this channel. It's not a whole lot, but it's something given back to the community. I hand out either the player pool. You have a choice, player pool. Now I have a quick search sheet, which is all available in the link in the description down below for my Patreon page. So if you wanted to get quick access to that information, you can definitely become a member down there. We have a quick search sheet, which is basically like a spreadsheet, cheat sheet type of format of mine that I put together so that my viewers will have an opportunity to have every information that they can possibly look at. All the information that I pretty much look at is on that sheet. And this is just a better way for you to be able to do your research time and cut it down really, really quickly, narrow down some plays. And then, of course, I also have a player pool, which I narrow down. It gets narrowed down throughout the day, so anybody that becomes a member, that slowly but surely you'll see the changes. If I put it up early in the day, by the time we get closer to lock, or if you go out throughout the day as far as we get news and so on and so forth, those changes are made throughout that time. And then by the before lock, you pretty much have a good idea of where the player pool is at, where I'm at as far as where I'm thinking, if any changes have been made from the players I've discussed here or not. All that will be there. And on top of that, I do have a tier there that you can have access to getting what I think are the best tournament plays for the day, best cash plays for the day, as well as the best value plays. So all those are available there to you right now. I did have a Cyber Monday type of thing. That's going to be available for the next few days. Go down there, very reasonable price, and choose something that you think it might be able to help you out. At the same time, you'll be helping me out as far as me putting in the time and effort to do the work. All right. So let's get right to it, man. So again, at point guard today, let's go right to the top. Obviously, Luka Doncic is in play. I'm going to have exposure to him. I think a lot of people are. The kid has proven that he is for real. And the bottom line is, this is a great game. I love this game out of all the games here tonight. This game here tonight, as well as the Orlando-Washington game, two games that you should target as far as implied totals. They're going to be a little paced up, a lot of high scoring. And then on top of that, if you wanted to target any other game, I think the Miami-Toronto, even though it's a little bit lower implied totals, but it's a very competitive game as well, could be a game that you can actually target. And of course, the Houston-San Antonio, the Battle of Texas, is definitely another one you can target as well. But the three top ones are Dallas, New Orleans at 233, the Houston-San Antonio at 233.5, and Orlando-Washington at 226.5, all with spreads within 5 or 6 points or less. So it's exactly my target range when I'm looking to put players together. So those are the games that you should definitely target. I highly recommend you look at those games. Remember, everything I discuss here is early on. I mean, anything can change from here to then. So if you really want to know where I'm at, the best thing to do is to get involved and come down to my Patreon page, the link in the description, and get involved and be a patron, and you'll be able to get that information as the day progresses of where I'm at as far as plays are concerned. Okay, so at the top, man. So again, Luka Doncic definitely in play. Lillard's price has come down, but Lillard has been so shaky. He's going up against the Clippers. If he was at home, I would love him a lot more at 9,000 because he is on the road, and the Clippers are just playing really solid basketball right now. A little bit of a dangerous play. I love his price tag better on DK, so if you play on DK, he is someone you can consider as an option. I'm going to come down. I love Lonzo Ball here. I love his price more on DK, so on DK, he'll be more of a play for me there. But I'm going to come down to Kendrick Nunn. I just feel, obviously, Goran Dragic is out. today, and Nunn is going to get a little bit of a bump. He is his usage rate is pretty good right now for a rookie at 24% for this team, but with no Goran, he gets at least a 2-3% bump all the way to about 26-27%, and I expect him to play over 30 minutes today. As you can see, he's been playing 24 to as much as 28 over the last few games. He has been averaging in that range of about 27-28 minutes per game, but he should definitely play over 30 minutes today in this matchup against Toronto. It's not the easiest matchup, but again, Fred VanVleet is not a bad defender, but he's not a great defender. He's not a shutdown defender. I'm looking at this more so at $4,800 price tag, a bump in usage. He's going to get more shots. He's not the only one that you can target here today. You also got to consider Tyler Hero as the shooting guard with Jimmy Butler. So you can go any one of these three. I think when you're looking at Miami today with Goran out, you're definitely going to need a little bit more out of the guard play, and I think this is where Kendrick Nunn should be able to get 30-plus minutes and is capable of getting you a point per minute. So Kendrick Nunn at 4,800, I mean, you only need 23, 24. I think that he's a solid choice here for you guys today. 24%, like I said, usage rate, 26% without Goran. In a competitive game against Toronto, this should be a very well-played game. Both teams are top teams, two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. In the last 6 out of the last 8 games, he has had pretty much 23 fantasy points or better, and as you can see down here, he did get to a 45 spot, so he's capable of getting you 40, so he has 40-point upside. He has been shooting fairly well, 46% from the floor, 38% from 3, which is excellent. He's taking pretty much 14 to 15 shots a game and 5 or 6 threes. I expect that to be bumped up just a little bit more here today. He can definitely get you some steals and the occasional block, and as you can see, he does a little bit of everything else. He can get you a few assists and a few rebounds, and of course, he's capable of scoring. So I like the matchup just simply because of the minutes. He should get a bump in minutes, and his price tag just seems a little low for me for this particular matchup. I think Kendrick Nunn is definitely someone you can consider today. So I'm gonna put him on here. He is going up against Toronto. Toronto is 16th in defending point guards, and they've been allowing it lately, at least over the last 5 games. They have allowed 32.3 fantasy points per game. Granted, they played a couple of pretty good solid point guards. Ben Simmons put up 41, Trae Young put up 57, and Mike Conley put up 29 all over the last 3 games. Mike Conley being the latest game against Toronto. So at shooting guard, at point guard, I do like Lonzo Ball on DraftKings, 5,400. He's averaging about 28 fantasy points per game. Let's pull him up over here on the Fanduel. He's 6,200 on Fanduel. I'm okay with him on Fanduel. I will have exposure to him on Fanduel as well. I just think his price tag at $800 cheaper on DK definitely stands out. Now, granted, very small sample, but we know he's going to play. He played 32 minutes in the last game against OKC, put up 14, 4, 7, and 1, 28 fantasy points. He's close to about, 0.8, 0.85 fantasy points per minute. Should get maybe close to a point per minute. Should get over 30 minutes today for sure. He's shooting 39% from the floor, which is not, good shooting percentage, but he's shooting a lot better from the 3 from beyond the arc at 36%. And of course, he can get you some steals and blocks. He's going up against Dallas. Dallas is right now currently giving up 27.8 fantasy points per game. That's over the last 3 or 4 games. Rubio did put up 35 in 32 minutes just 2 games ago. Lonzo Ball is considered not a high usage player for New Orleans. I mean, that really stands out more towards Brandon Ingram and Drew Holiday. But between the 3 guys and Josh Hart, these guys are going to definitely have to produce today to keep this game competitive against Dallas. So I like Lonzo Ball there on DK. And then when it comes back to FanDuel, we go to shooting guard. At shooting guard at the top, you got James Harden, got Bradley Beal. I think Bradley Beal should be someone to consider. I mean, as far as price tag, this game should be a fairly decent game as well. And he did put up a 50-plus against this team the first time around. I'm not going to put him as a core here, but I think he will. He is in my player pool right now. Drew Holiday is another one you can consider, 8,300. DeMar DeRozan, I do like him a whole lot if Aldridge is out. There's a good chance Aldridge is out. If he is out, he's definitely going to get a bump, probably easily 2 or 3% without Aldridge on the court. So he's going to have to do a bit more there. I do think that's definitely someone you can consider. I'm going to come down and be cheap. I'll go over a few guys in a moment. Josh Hart, just targeting this game between New Orleans and Dallas. I definitely like Josh Hart here. He's more than likely going to probably start because Kenrich Williams is out, and if he doesn't start, he's going to come off the bench, be the sixth man, and he's going to be obviously, he's definitely energized kind of guy, comes off the bench, comes out and plays, and he can put up a lot of shots. He could be very streaky, he could get hot from three, hot from the floor, and they'll feed him the ball a little bit more. He could put up a bunch of points pretty quickly, but I like the factors for 4,700, the minutes he's playing over 30 minutes. I got to tell you guys here, time and time again, you want minutes, you want usage, and you want to be able to have somebody who's going to take some shots. He doesn't take a ton of shots, but the minutes are there for 4,700 in a matchup like this, fast-paced. New Orleans not the greatest defending team. They're improving slowly but surely. They'll get better when Zion Williamson finally comes out and play. But right now at this moment, this particular game against Dallas, definitely see both of these teams going back and forth. And Josh Hart could be someone who could be very dangerous here. All right, this is he is pretty much shooting 44% from the floor, 38% from three. Of course, he can get you some rebounds. As you can see, he put up 11. He had a double-double in his last outing. Can get you some blocks and steals. Could be very active there. 38% from three. He is taking 7 to 8 shots pretty much per game and averaging 6 threes a game, sometimes as much as 7. So, I mean, not too bad at all. He's averaging 28 minutes, but I expect him to be over 30 minutes here today. Another thing I like here is that, more importantly out of this game is just the factors that he's more than likely going to get an opportunity to start. And with that kind of price, you cannot pass up on a few of these New Orleans guys, especially Josh Hart in this case, who is capable of getting you 40, 50. He has definitely some upside. So I like Hart here. And we're going to pencil him in. And like I said, and then the same thing pretty much could be said for him here as shooting guard at DK. But I'm going to go with Kendrick Nunn here at 4,900. So vice versa here, Nunn on FanDuel and Ball, and Nunn here at 4,900. You just got to have some exposure to him. He has to be someone you got to consider. I already gave you his numbers. So we go back now to FanDuel at small forward. Other options at shooting guard, like I said, Bradley Beal going up against Orlando, definitely an option. 33.5 fantasy points per game. DeMar DeRozan, if there's no Aldridge, got to consider that. 31.6 fantasy points per game given up. Lou Will versus Portland. Portland's been giving up 30.5. He did put up a 40-plus against them the first meeting earlier this year. So Lou will be someone you can consider. Then you got also Evan Fournier, who's been basically taking a ton of usage and shots for Orlando as of late. He's definitely in play. His price tag has come up quite a bit, but I think he's in play. Washington giving up 30.3 fantasy points per game. Dylan Wright, same matchup against New Orleans. Definitely will have some exposure to Dylan Wright. He put up over 40 against New Orleans the first time around for Dallas. At 4,900, he's definitely someone you got to consider. And then, of course, Tyler Hero with the absence of Goran Dragic, you got to consider Tyler Hero. He's about a 24% usage rate bump when there is no Goran Dragic. So him and Nunn should get the bulk of the extra minutes and the opportunity to put up more fantasy points, which is what we want to have when we play fantasy sports. So Tyler Hero in play. Those are the guys I'm pretty much looking at right now. At small forward at the top, you got LeBron James, got Brandon Ingram. I love Brandon Ingram. Ingram is in play for me, and he will be pretty much someone that I'm looking at as a play on DK, but I'm going to probably pencil him in as a power forward in that spot. But right now, small forward here, I'm going to come down. I do like Jonathan Isaac. Again, just picking on this Washington game and the Dallas-New Orleans game. Like I said, I really like those games, these 3 games here the most. But Dallas, the Orlando-Washington game is going to be intriguing as well. Washington is very vulnerable up front. They give up quite a bit of fantasy points to the front court. They also are probably the worst team in the league giving up to opponents points in the paint and second chance opportunities. I think they're in the top 5 when I looked at it. So they're definitely going to have some issues here, and I think Jonathan Isaac will have an opportunity. Again, Siakam I like Ingram. Those price tags, they really are killing me, especially Ingram at 9,300. Obviously, they know he's going to be put in a position where he's going to have to do quite a bit for New Orleans today, so I can understand the price hike, but he is really close to value. I do love his price on DK more so. But going back to Jonathan Isaac, in play for me, 8,000. You need 40 for him to meet value here. And again, he has been able to put 35, 40 on a regular basis. He is pretty consistent. Good cash play for you guys today who play cash, but I do play tournaments more so. I do like his upside. He's got 50-plus upside. As you can see here, 27-plus minutes over the last 6 games. He's put up 32 plus in 5 out of his last 6 games, and he's had a 55 spot in between there, and he's been at 50s a few times this year. And what he brings to the table, man, he can score, he can get you rebounds. He has one double-double here. He has another double-double here, close to a couple double-doubles over the last 5 or 6 games. And what he brings to the table is not only the rebounding, it's the defensive skills. He blocks shots, and he blocks, and he blocks, and he blocks, and he can get you some steals. And again, in a matchup here where Washington is very vulnerable up front, giving up a lot of second-chance opportunities, a lot of rebounds in the paint, a lot of scoring in the paint, I think Jonathan Isaac is in prime position to put 40 or better here. I expect him to put 40 or better here today. He's in a good position to do so. Again, the games have to be played. Anything can happen. But he is definitely in a very, very good spot here. I love the matchup here. So he is shooting 46% from the floor thus far this year, 34% from 3. And, of course, he's capable of getting you blocks. He averages about 2.5 blocks a game. So you're going to get 6 to 9 fantasy points just on blocks alone on average per night from him. His home and away splits, I looked at that and I found that to be definitely interesting there. He is definitely playing better on the road. He's on the road in this matchup here today going into Washington, and his numbers are 48% from the floor away from home and 39%, which is 5% better than he is on average for the year. And he has also 39, almost nearly 40 fantasy points per game on the road as opposed to 28 on average at home. So he has done well on the road. I do expect Jonathan Isaac to do very well. He is going up against Washington. They're 26 in defending small forwards, allowing 35.6, nearly 36 fantasy points per game over the last 5. Kawhi Leonard put up 48, LeBron James 47. Obviously some tough guys right there back to back, and they also gave up 39 to Will Barton. So that's over the course of the last 4 games. So Isaac in play for me at small forward, and on DK at small forward, I am looking at the other guy that I think his price is better here, and that's Brandon Ingram. So Ingram is in play here for me in this matchup. You only need 40 here to meet value for Brandon Ingram. So Ingram in play. On DK, we go back to Fanduel. Other options you have here on Fanduel and on DK, like I said, Ingram in play. I do think that you can consider Siakam in this matchup. I do like coming down a little bit lower Rudy Gay. If there's no Ulrich, obviously he's going to get a bump. He's going to need to do a little bit more. Timmy Hardaway, has been starting, sometimes coming off the bench. Could be a big spark here in this game against Dallas, against New Orleans. So Tim Hardaway's in play. No Cedi Osman. If he is out, obviously you can consider Kevin Porter, the young rookie there. So he's an option. Who else? Rodney Hood has been playing pretty well as of late as well. I guess that's pretty much it there. Let's go to power forward. So at power forward at the top, man, you got Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis. I will have exposure to Anthony Davis. I do like Anthony Davis in his matchup today. Kawhi Leonard, not so much so. I'll probably pay $1,000 more for Anthony Davis, at least here on FanDuel. But I'm going to come down to Kristaps Porzingis, KP, 8,100 here. His price tag on DK, absolutely, he is also for me on DK, especially at 6,500. I love the price tag. I knew that I wanted to squeeze in somebody here from Dallas. If it wasn't going to be Doncic, it was going to be Porzingis. I'm going to put Porzingis in here, but like I said before, this is not set in stone here. There's a lot of guys. I do like Doncic. This is why I give you a whole bunch of other options, because these are the guys that I'm pretty much looking at, other than the ones I'm putting up on here on the screen. This is just to give you an idea, more or less. If you like this lineup, if you could build around it, you will be able to see where you can actually continue building from here. But Porzingis in play for me. I'm going to put him right in there. 8,100. You need pretty much 40 for him to meet value. He is 6,500 on DK. Absolutely in play on DK as well. So we're going to put him on here. And he's right here, 6,500. That is pretty cheap for Porzingis in a matchup where both teams are vulnerable up front as far as second chance opportunities and giving up points in the paint. So this is an opportunity for him to get a massive amount of rebounds. I expect him to get 10 or more on average. He's been averaging 9 on the year with 17 points, playing 27-plus minutes over the last few games, but he is more of a 30-minute or better player on this team. He is the second offensive weapon for the Dallas Mavericks, so they definitely need Porzingis to play more than enough minutes. Granted, he's been trending a little bit downward in fantasy point totals, 23, 33, and 34, but he has 50-point upside in a nice position, nice matchup here where he should be able to play not only 30-plus minutes, but be able to get more than enough of his shots off. He's been shooting 40% from the floor thus far, 35% from 3. His usage rate is at around 25% thus far this year, taking 14 or 15 shots. I expect him to do a little bit more today, 6 or 7 threes. Again, great matchup going up against a team where he should be able to do well. I think Porzingis is definitely in play. He's going up against New Orleans. They're 6th in defending power forwards, which is pretty darn good. But as of late, over the last 5 games, fantasy point-wise, which I look at a whole lot, 33.8 fantasy points per game. They did give up 41 and 37 respectively to Gallo in back-to-back games, and Anthony Davis put up 63 3 games ago. So that's over the course of the last 4 games. Those are the 3 numbers. Other options, if not on Porzingis, like I said, Anthony Davis is in play at the top. I do think that you can consider Blake Griffin in this matchup here. Cleveland is one of the other teams that definitely is vulnerable up front as far as second chance points in the paint as well as points in the paint. This is an opportunity for Blake Griffin as well as Andrew Drummond to do very well up front. And he's 7,400 instead of paying 98 or 9,900 for Drummond. You may want to go Blake Griffin. He hasn't shown the old Blake Griffin of old, but again, at 7,400, that's not a bad price tag. And on top of that, his price tag is even cheaper on DK. So if you wanted to go that route, so I would not. He's right now still on my player pool. Cleveland giving up 37.8 fantasy points per game over the last 4 games to opposing power forwards. Then you got Aaron Gordon here against Washington, slowly but surely getting some minutes back. Remember, he was injured for a little bit. He is someone that I'm definitely considering as well. 6,200 for a guy that's like a 7,500 player, on average. This could be a nice play for him here as well, because Washington, like I said, definitely giving up a lot of second chance opportunities, rebounding as well. This is an opportunity for him to get 8, 9, 10 rebounds today. So Aaron Gordon is in play at 6,200. Washington, 32.4 fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards. And then I will say, if there's no coming down further, you always got to consider Green, if he's able to play. Rui is definitely someone to consider here for Washington, that same matchup against Orlando. So he's an option. Trey Lyles here, man. If Aldridge is out, Trey Lyles is definitely someone he could be a nice little value play here at 3,600. So there's some options there. All right, at center. At the top, you got Drummond. All right, 9,800, like I said, in a good spot here. Cleveland a little vulnerable up front as far as second chance opportunities and rebounding and, of course, points in the paint. So Drummond should be able to do well here. Jokic going up against the Lakers should be in a good spot, 8,900, under 9K. Definitely someone to consider. I'm just, I know Capella's been out, but I just love the matchup again. San Antonio, Houston, if there's no Aldridge, this is a great spot for Clint Capella. So I like Capella here. And I also do like him at 7,800, $1,000 cheaper on DK. So he'll be my DK play as well for now. And I like that I'm building this lineup up front with a lot of guys in positions where they're going to face teams where they can actually be able to be successful as far as rebounding is concerned and second chance opportunities and points in the paint. So Clint Capella, 8,800, and he pretty much 44. On DK, 7,800, and he 38. He's averaging 40 on both platforms. Solid play all year long for Clint Capella. His numbers have been just outstanding. Double-double here, double-double here, 4 double-doubles in a row. And you go for way back, he's had like 7, 8 straight double-doubles or 9 straight double-doubles. And as you can see, he is the 20 rebound king thus far. He's just been unbelievable, just snatching up a bunch of rebounds a game, and he's going to be in position to do that again. Here comes Dallas, which I just told you before is vulnerable up front. Here's a proof, 23 rebounds by Clint Capella there. So again, an opportunity for New Orleans to get a lot of rebounds if they can do it. But Clint Capella, man, in play, 40 to 36, 3 out of his last 4 games, as you can see, he had 43 pretty much fantasy points to as high as 60 with a 60 spot. He got 60-point upside. He's done it a few times already this year. He has a decent floor. If you're looking at his floor over the last 4 games, he'll be 36. And I haven't seen nothing. 29 has been low here. Obviously, these games here, not many minutes, maybe more than likely blowout games. Who knows? But as of late, he's just been absolutely just an absolute beast. So great play for him. Can get you blocks and steals, as we all know. He has been shooting fairly well thus far this year. His usage rate is 17%, taking 10 to 11 shots a game, playing 32-plus minutes. this is just a great matchup for him going up against a team where up front they should be a little vulnerable, even with Aldridge in there. San Antonio has done well against big guys thus far this year, but Capella has just been so absolutely wonderful, man. I just can't see why he cannot get it done. And if Aldridge is out, it's definitely even more of an opportunity for him to be able to meet value here and really crush it. But if you're not on Capella, and of course I told you Capella is my play here at 7,800. If you're not on Capella, man, there's a couple of guys. Whiteside is definitely someone that's in my player pool still at the moment. Do like the matchup against the Clippers. Not the easiest one because they're going up against, he's going to battle some Harrell, and Harrell could be a little physical. Could put him in a position to be in foul trouble, but Whiteside is definitely someone that has been an animal as of late. Thomas Bryant, definitely someone you can consider. Orlando giving up 29.7 fantasy points per game up front with no Vucevic. They are definitely a little vulnerable up there. And then you got Mo Bamba here against Washington on the other side of the ball. Washington, like I said, a little vulnerable up front as far as second chance opportunities. If this kid happens to start, he hasn't started yet, but he's been coming off the bench. If he gets 20 plus minutes, he can definitely be able to get you 20 a point per minute here and get you 20 to 25. Jackson Hayes, definitely will like him. I mean, if for whatever reason I decide to pivot off of Capella, I'll be willing to come down and play one of these two guys in a bunch of lineups. Why not? Especially Jackson Hayes in this matchup against Dallas. I could definitely go that route. And that is pretty much it. That is pretty much it. All right. That is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, good luck tonight, man. This is basically, it's a good luck tonight, man. If you're following along on my Patreon page, like I said, man, the link is in the description of the video here down below. I will be updating player pools and so on and so forth there throughout the course of the day. Obviously, just before lock is when you really want to get in there like 6:15 and be able to buckle down and make your last decisions on whom you're going to go with. But again, pretty much that is it for today, man. I wish you guys a lot of luck.